cents out of a dollar. A little more difficult to give 100,000 out of a million. You say, oh, if I had $1 million, I'd give 100,000. I'm not that sure. We better start you early, right? So that when the big money comes, it'll just be automatic. You won't even have to think about it, okay? All right, so 10 cents for charity and church. Here's the next 10 cents. Active capital. Try to make a profit. It's called buy and sell. I learned to do this starting at age 25. It's how I made my first fortune, buying and selling. Like the little boy who buys a bottle of soap for $2 and sells it for $3. Active capital means you try to make the profit. Buy a piece of property and improve it and sell it. Active capital. Keep saving up this active capital until you've got some to work with to buy and sell, make a profit. Now the third 10 cents is passive capital, which means let somebody else use this 10%. You put this to work and see if you can't make a profit. This is to let someone else use it. You are the passive partner in providing the money. They are the active partner in seeing if they can make a profit and pay you dividends and stock increase and whatever. Interest. And that little formula is a good place to start. Now, you might not really be able to start there. I call this the ideal. Maybe by the time you've heard this, you're in such bad financial shape that you have to go here, 97, 1, 1, and 1. That right now you're in a trap. You're caught. And it's going to take you a while to get out. So right now you got to spend 97% of your income, right, for your living and lifestyle, because, you know, you're caught, you're obligated, you know, there's no way out. And then the rest of these now are just 1, 1, and 1. The key is to start with something. Now, Mr. Schoaf gave me a comment. It has served me all these years. Here's the comment. It's not the amount that counts, it's the plan that counts. When I first met him, I said, if I had more money, I'd have a better plan. He said, no, if you had a better plan, you'd have more money. So if you have to, you start with 97, 1, 1, and 1. Then what do? Now comes the project, right away, of trying to get this 97 figure to go down and these other 3 numbers to start going up. This now becomes an exciting game to play. In another seminar, I talk about measuring progress. This is one of the great motivating factors in the world, is to start something and make progress. Start something and make progress. See, Jim Rohn told us the ideal was 70, 10, 10, and 10. But I can't start there. I've got to start with 97, 1, 1, and 1. And here's what you've got to understand. This is okay. I mean, if this is where you have to start, that's where you have to start. Then you start driving this number down and start driving these numbers up. And it's a whole game to play till finally you can arrive at this pretty good ideal way. What to do with the money you earn from a paycheck or from dividends or from whatever sources. 70, 10, 10, 10. I mentioned the name Sarah Alfaro in Mexico. I taught her this, and she's been teaching it to the people she's responsible for over all the last 10 years. And some of them now are doing extremely well, making big money, and they've got houses and cars and, you know, all kinds of stuff. 70, 10, 10, and 10. Now, when you start getting into the big money, these numbers have to change again. I probably don't spend more than 10% of my income. So if this number for me is 10%, you can imagine what these other 3 numbers probably are. So if you have to, you start here. Get to the ideal. And then when it really starts to flow in your favor, you rearrange this program again, 10%. Because if you're doing big time, you know, you couldn't spend 70% of your income. It would be obscene. Here's the next one now. This is only a suggested plan. You know, this is not written in any law. You know, most advantages and benefits for the future are not written in law. There's no law that says you must not have a heart attack. Where is it written? There is no law. That you must demand of yourself. There is no demand that you have a good financial plan that'll safely take care of your family for the future. There is no law. You could be careless and lose it all and finally have to be supported by the state. So there is no law that you must be responsible and have a good financial plan. You must demand it of yourself. So I'm asking you to make that note. It's what we demand of ourselves that counts. There's no law that says you must have a health plan that's going to make you extremely healthy for the next 10 years. There is no law. That you must demand of yourself. And those are the disciplines now that really start to count, the ones you demand of yourself. So, next, keep strict accounts. Keep strict accounts. Have you ever heard this expression? I don't know where it all goes. Did you ever hear that? Oh, we'd love to have you run our company. You don't know where it all goes. Did you ever hear this? It just gets away from me. Oh, we'd love to have you run the world. It just gets away from you? Okay. Will you make the note now? Keep strict accounts. This is for your own self-esteem, as well as safety and financial matters for the future. Keep strict accounts. In California, if a 10-year-old walks into 7-Eleven and buys something that costs $1, the proprietor asks the child for 8 more pennies. Does the child have a right to know how come we're asking him for 8 more pennies? And the answer is yes. The kid says, I'm only 10 years old. And the proprietor says, congratulations, you're my youngest taxpayer. Now the kid wants to know, who gets these 8 pennies? Where does it go? And here's what the proprietor, if he's wise, says. Well, if you want to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk instead of in the mud, you have to pay the 8 pennies. Everybody pays the 8 pennies on every dollar, so that we have streets and we have a sidewalk. So you don't have to ride your bicycle in the dirt and the mud, you got the sidewalk. And now the child understands, okay, here's my 8 pennies. We can't let anybody off the hook, because all of us are in this together. And you can't build your own section of the street out in front of your home. So we take these collective needs that all of us need, and we ante up the money, whether it's federal or state or sales tax or whatever it is, so that all of this is taken care of us. Here's what it's called: the care and feeding of the goose that lays the golden eggs. You say, well, the goose eats too much. That's probably true. But make this note: better a fat goose than no goose at all. How much do you think aircraft carriers cost? We can't use used missiles. Here's where else the money goes. So you'll be safe in your bed at night while the policeman walks the beat. While we sleep, the Air Force doesn't sleep. While we sleep, the Army doesn't sleep. While we sleep, the policeman walks the beat and checks the doors. That's where the money goes. Once you have a vision of where the money goes, yes, for some things it costs too much. Yes, the government sometimes is too extravagant. Yes, yes, all the yeses. But all those yeses are true for all of us. Sure, the goose might eat too much, but who doesn't? So finally, when I understood what this was all about, I finally became a very strange creature called a happy taxpayer.
So, very specifically, can you get the sense of how to actually account for your expenses and incomes? And if yes, the moment is right now to actually segregate and allocate your expenses and your income. After you have earned a certain amount, then don't go spending it blindly. First invest, then save, right? Or first invest in the right allocations, save your money, and then go out spending on that expenses that you believe are necessary, right? And when we start to save and invest, automatically the wheel of your fortune starts to shift, right? So in this exercise, in the next 5 minutes, I want you to look at your last month, how much you made and how you spend that money, right? And how much are you targeting to make now in the next 3 months? And how are you allocating to invest, save, and spend, right? So quickly go into your last month's expenses, last month's income, the big items that you bought because of some sale going on, or maybe some offer going on, yeah, or your travel, whatever that you did. How much did you ended up making, spending, and saving and investing? So very quickly, I'll play some music, go into your checkbooks, go into your accounts, go into your ATMs and the bank accounts, check out the statement very quickly. And this is your time to actually do a self introspection, because this time is not going to come back again, right? So very quickly, go into your books as I play some music. start completing. And you can stop now. So very quickly, were you able to complete the exercise? How much income, how much expenses, how much savings? And this is the mirror that I invite you to see for yourself, because these are the numbers that tell the truth. How much money is coming in, how much money is flowing in, flowing out of your pocket, and or your business, right? So you probably earned from your customers, from bank, from dividends, from stocks, from profit, from whatever business has produced, and your expenses in sales, in your manpower, in your electricity, in your credit card bills, all mount up to a particular number. And where do you stand? You can stand to save some amount. Congratulations. Little amount, wonderful. The point is, make that progress. Now make a plan to increase your savings from existing savings to 10 times your savings in the next 3 months. Would you like to take up the challenge? Increasing your savings by 10 times. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily to cut down on your expenses. What it also means is increasing your income. Yes or no? So if you really are committed, what can you do now? Take a target for the next 3 months that I will save 10 times of my existing savings. Whatever I saved last month, I will save 10 times that. And how can you do that? Either to cut down your expenses, which may not be necessary. Alternatively, increase your income. And when you get committed to that, that is the personal philosophy. It is not law. It is not a rule. It is your personal philosophy. It is the personal governance framework that you create for yourself. And when you create that, miracles will start to happen in your life. Are you following that? Right? And that is exactly what the rich people do. They first invest, they save, and then they spend money. So wherever you are on the scale, whether you are spending 97% of your income, or you are spending 70% of your income, or you are someone who is only spending 10% of your income, the idea is, can you make it better? Can you save and invest more so that that money will fund your future? If this resonates with you, I want you to give a thumbs up and start making a plan for your life, because that is what will take you to create your family legacy. Your business can turn into a legacy business. Your local brand, your local business can become national or even global business or a global brand. Your family members would be happy to actually take on what you are creating because they can see the results. Let them get excited about it. So all the best. Have a wonderful day ahead. And here is one very important notification. I am invited by the World Trade Center, Mumbai, to conduct our special session on creating future proofing of family businesses. So this future proofing of family businesses for the next 25 years is what we'll be having amazing, training, executive training session on the 2nd of September. 2nd of September happens to be, I think, a Thursday. Yeah. So make sure whichever part of the planet you are flying in Mumbai and you are joining me for this special session because World Trade Center is actually, conducting it for their, internal audience. And because you are a part of my community, here is this special invitation for you. So we'll have this detail sent out across to you as well. If you are someone who's really serious about future proofing your business, then you must be here. Like it's like a no brainer, right? The fees of that also, they had put it at 5,000 rupees. I requested them and they were kind enough to give a scholarship to a few people. So there is a 3,800 rupees scholarship for the first few seats, and you have to just pay 1,200 rupees and like whatever GST and things like that. Get in is the name of the game, and just make sure that you are someone who is not only future proofing your business but also taking that step forward for making India Viksit Bharat in the Samrit Kal. So all the best. Have a wonderful day ahead. God bless. Take care of yourself.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Congratulations.